There's no better way for me to describe this show than deceptively wholesome. By that I mean that Kono Oto Tomare is an anime that appears generic on the surface, but has some of the best character writing and theming I've seen in an anime. It's a show that slowly, but surely warms our hearts until we have no choice but to fall in love with it. Hello everybody, and welcome to the Anime Lodge. My name is Aaron, and I will be your host during your stay here. I'm going to be giving you some insight into those aspects I was talking about earlier of this show, and hopefully it convinces you to check out this amazing anime. So without further ado, let's grab a drink and let's get started. How do you actually write a good character? Now, you could take to the internet and try to find some parameters for crafting the perfect character. You'll likely find a whole slew of answers, but I think it comes down to one key thing. Does the character feel believable? Or in other words, does this character act like a real person? Strong characters are at the heart of Kono Oto Tomare. Don't be fooled by episode 1, where the characters just seem to kind of fall into very cliche and defined archetypes. When I first started watching, I was exactly in that boat. For instance, I believed that Chika's character was very cliche and unnecessarily dramatic. I also thought that Kurata was going to be like every MC ever, a static and uninteresting character. By the end of the second episode, I summed up the main 4 characters as the following. Chika, the delinquent with a troubled past. Satoa, the prodigy with a tough family life. Hiro, the troublemaker. And Kurata, the unassuming, unconfident president. But after watching, I realized there's something more to each of these characters. These summaries don't even begin to capture what each of them represent, what each of them are. There's something underlying every single one of them that makes their stories resonate with both people in the anime and with the viewers. Chika, Satoa, Hiro, and Kurata, they don't let their past define them. This is the key reason why the character backstories or the arcs don't feel contrived or forced. Kono Oto Tomare realizes that character stories are influenced by circumstance. Life has a way of just beating us down. We lose people we care about, we fail at the things we want to succeed at, we get hurt emotionally or physically. However, those pains don't have to be what define us. What defines us, and by proxy our cast, is our ability to overcome those challenges, not just that we have them. Problems only last for as long as we need to overcome them, and Kono Oto Tomare takes this messaging to heart by showcasing this lesson over and over again. Characters act like real people, and they actually find solutions to their problems. Unlike other shows, issues aren't exaggerated for melodrama. The protagonists find actionable solutions, implement them, and then move on, like how people would do in real life. Let's look at an example from the show. After Chika, Satoa, and Kurata barely get the Koto Club off the ground, Hiro initially joins the group and she begins to cause problems. She starts to spread rumors about what Satoa thinks about the other members, simply so she can sit back and watch the spectacle of relations falling apart in front of her. If this was any other anime, she would get just that. Hiro would get 2 to 3 episodes of falling out before the group bounced back and overcame her as an antagonist. But that's not what happens. Immediately, Chika is able to see the contradictions in what Hiro is saying and what he knows about his friend. Later, when it's revealed that Satoa is lying to her friends about her past, this still doesn't give Hiro the drama she's seeking. This feels realistic because the group thanks her for sharing, and they move on because they understand that sometimes friends hide things from each other. Afterwards, when Hiro is called out on her lying and manipulation, she is still treated like a real person. After she bolts off after being called out, most of us would expect her to never show up again in the story, but she sticks around. Kurata catches up to her and he asks if there's something wrong, and he tells her that he's willing to listen to her if she needs someone to be there, despite all the things she's done. Rarely, if ever, do I see a slice of life anime, hell, any anime, treat their antagonist with such respect and realism. Rarely in life are people just monolithic villains that cause problems because they're evil. People have circumstances that led them to make the choices they make. Sometimes those choices hurt other people, and those who have been hurt don't have to forgive the person that hurt them. At the end of the day, nobody is a hero or a villain because we're all simply people. People trying to live our lives and overcome obstacles that face us. This type of character maturity is showcased all throughout the show, with all of the problems and antagonists that the group faces. Person after person who doubts our group or tries to meddle in their affairs finds themselves at their wits' end when the group is not daunted by it. In fact, the Tokusei Koto Club only grows with every challenge that it faces. Furthermore, many of those villains find themselves persuaded to support the Koto Club. Why? because they're people too, and people can change. Strangely enough, we, the audience, can find ourselves in the same spot Grandpa as the antagonist, especially if we originally believed this show was generic. We get sucked into the character stories because they showcase to us that our problems and obstacles can and will be overcome with enough time, effort, trust, and love from the people who care about us. So I did my best not to spoil any major plot points in the show because I'm really hoping more people will be willing to check it out. I absolutely adore the show, and I do want to give a quick shout out to Kamimashita because they dropped a video about this show that I really liked, which inspired me to make this one. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I will be seeing you next time you check it at the lodge.